Hi, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well and having a wonderful week. As always, I'd like to thank all my wonderful subscribers for all of your love and support for me and my channel. Everybody that's been with me since the beginning of my channel and all of my new subscribers, thank you so much. Also, a big shout out and thank you to Mel Dorr. I've had so much growth to my channel and even been really busy with private readings because of my collab with Mel. Really like Mel's energy. I think our energies balance each other's out really well. So I'm looking forward to all of our future collabs together. So thank you, Mel. I have actually been able to quit my Starbucks job so that I can focus more time on my channel and doing private readings. It's been a major blessing. So thanks everybody for the support. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel and you're watching, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up. Really appreciate that. So today's video is for my 2022 predictions. Like I said, I've been pretty busy. I haven't completely finished them, but I need to get this documented because some of my predictions are already happening. So my plan is to get this video posted and finishing my predictions here very soon before more things happen. I just want to make sure that it can all be documented. So today's topics that we're going to cover are, let me see, I'm pulling it up. We got some weather and earth events for the US and worldwide. I'm going to talk about COVID, the US economy, the Supreme Court. That's about all I've gotten done for now. I do have midterm topics. I'll jump into the elections closer to midterms. The energy's a little unstable right now, and as we get closer, I can get a better feel. I'll probably do matchups for a lot of these big races and have those posted for you. We have the Biden and Democratic agenda bills, voting rights, infrastructure, some stuff on student loans. I may briefly go into those. I've talked about a lot of them before. And then world events. I have Russia and North Korea right now that I'll briefly talk into. But I will probably break these up into a couple different videos for my 2022 predictions and get a little bit done at a time so that I can share with you all. Now, these predictions are for entertainment purposes only. These predictions are messages and impressions I've received from my guides to help and prepare you. Also, as you know, timeframes can be a little hard to predict. There's a lot of free will involved, so things can change or be delayed. So I am documenting these predictions for 2022. Some of these predictions may happen in following years. Okay. So our first topic is weather and earth events for the US. And unfortunately, I do see a lot of crazy weather and earth events continuing into this year, probably the next couple of years. With the Earth's energy shifting and rebalancing, along with climate change, I do see another year of major storms, crazy weather patterns, and devastating earth events. Now, these predictions aren't meant to scare you, but are warnings from my guides to better prepare everybody. So please be prepared. Make sure you have backup of essential items and supplies like bottled water, non-perishable foods, flashlights, batteries, blankets. If you can, generators great for when the power goes out. So even if I don't go over your area with these predictions, I just think it's very important that we're prepared because there's going to be a lot of crazy earth events and weather. So my first topic is for hurricanes. My guides were showing me 4 major hurricanes affecting the US. Now, I feel like there may be smaller ones that affect, but my guides are really focusing in on 4 major ones. I'm feeling 2 storms affecting the East Coast on the Atlantic side and 2 in the Gulf regions. Two of these storms, my guides told me, were major hurricanes, category 4 or higher. One of the major storms I'm feeling, I see hitting the southern part of Florida. It felt like the Keys, maybe Miami, and then clipping off into the Atlantic. I felt it was getting stronger as it went back off into the Atlantic and then hitting in the Carolina region. And there was going to be a lot of flooding and wind damage with this storm. I think that was one of the major hurricanes my guides were showing. Feeling a milder storm affecting the East Coast as well. Felt like it was probably a category 3 and it was kind of going through the coast. Now on the Gulf side, I felt one hitting Florida on the Gulf side and traveling up the Florida coast into the Panhandle and then into Alabama. Now with that storm, my guides were showing a lot of tornadoes after landfall, a lot of tornadoes in Alabama. And then also I saw a major storm hitting Texas, and that was going to cause a lot of major flooding. My guides show me that this year that there's going to be a lot of flooding again. My guides just keep showing me a lot of water, so I'm worried about flooding for the U.S. Especially my guides gave my attention to the Tennessee, Kentucky region, and a lot of flooding along the Gulf coastline as well. I feel like those are mostly from the hurricanes, a lot of flooding, but there was a lot of flooding up through like the middle, like Kentucky, Tennessee area. Now, some of this is already happening. I feel like this last storm was part of this prediction that I have written, but at the beginning of winter, I felt it was definitely warmer. And then as winter progressed, I felt it getting very, very cold. I felt it was really cold in the middle of America. And there was going to be a major snowstorm affecting New York and traveling northeast into the New England states. With that storm, I felt a lot of snow accumulation and really frigid temperatures. I was also feeling the freeze affecting the Texas region and the infrastructure again. I didn't feel it was as bad as last year, and I think that this is the storm that just occurred. My guides were saying, though, this will cause a huge outcry from the Texas people, and it would build momentum for them to improve their infrastructure and power grid system. And eventually, I think Texas's energy source is on its own, and then there's two major ones for the U.S. I see Texas joining that and getting off of their own energy grid. My guides were showing me more tornadoes affecting the middle of America, along with the east and southeast regions of the U.S. And they were showing me at least 3 major hurricanes, or tornadoes, my apologies, EF4 or 5. There's going to be more throughout, but I felt at least 3 of them being, on the news with a lot of devastation. I also see a lot more fires affecting the West Coast like last year, but my guides did say that they are going to continue to go more and more east. I had a concern with Colorado. A lot of the same energy as in past years. I also felt that there were going to be some regions affected with drought this year. Now into earthquakes, my guides were showing me an earthquake affecting the New Madrid fault line. It felt like it was spring or summertime and affecting mostly Missouri and Kentucky, but I felt like there would be aftershocks where it would be felt in surrounding states as well. Now, I'm not feeling a lot of property damage with this quake, but rather a lot of shock and unease, my guides were saying, because it's not something that's normal for the area. But not a whole lot of damage, just a lot of shock and people, being surprised because, like I said, typically this area doesn't get a whole lot of quakes. Now I'm feeling 2 in the West Coast. One was in Southern California, and it felt like it was like a magnitude 6 or 7. Now I feel like it was more remote southern, so I felt like it was more into like the desert area. And as a result, my guides, there wouldn't be a whole lot of property damage, because it was isolated. I'm also feeling a quake in Northern California or Oregon. I felt like it was up in that region, and that was also a 6 to 7 magnitude. That one, I think, excuse me, was going to have a little bit more property damage associated. My guides were saying that there would be a volcano erupting somewhere along in the western coast of the U.S. I feel like that may be another year or two off, but they were bringing my attention to that. I do feel a volcanic eruption in Alaska, and then either this year or next. And I do feel some more volcanic activity in Hawaii, but with that, I'm not seeing anything major, just a lot of lava flow, not a huge eruption. Now for worldwide weather and earth events, my guides gave me a major hit and a warning for a particular storm. They showed me cyclone in bold. It was going to hit in the South Pacific and Indian Ocean. And they were telling me that with this storm, it was going to be like unlike anything we've seen on record to date. I just saw this massive supercell. I mean, it was giant. It looked like it could be like its own country. It was massive. And it's going to create a lot of devastation. Anything that's in its path, it's going to cause a lot of flooding and major wind damage. I was seeing a whole lot of coastal cities just in towns just being completely decimated. So I'm really hope that I'm wrong about that, but they were sending me a big warning with that. Now for some worldwide earthquakes, I felt a major earthquake in Mexico this year, and it felt like it was hitting a bigger city. So I did feel quite a bit of property damage involved with that. Also, I was seeing a large earthquake in Pakistan, India area, and I felt that there was going to be a lot of destruction, damage, loss of life with that as well. Now, my guides were showing me a volcano or an earthquake in Japan. I couldn't figure out what the two it was. It felt more like it was a volcanic energy. And as a result of that, I felt like it may cause a tsunami. I wasn't feeling it being anything really, really bad, but they were showing me that. Also, a major volcano erupting. It felt like it was in Italy. It could have been Italy, Croatia, Greece, somewhere in that region. I feel like it's Italy though. But the good news with that storm, my guides were saying, is that a major city was going to be evacuated ahead of time. I think that there's going to be signs of it, that it's going to blow before it happens, and that they're able to evacuate. So I don't see a whole lot of loss of life with that. My guides also showed me more devastating fires and droughts in Australia this year. There was some kind of earth event happening in New Zealand. Felt like it was an earthquake or a landslide. I feel like it was like a landslide or mudslide. And then lastly, my guide showed me a massive major forest fire in Russia. It's remote, but it was like a huge amount of the forest on fire. Now, out of weather, we're going to talk a little bit about COVID. I really see this year COVID cases starting to plateau and drop in the US. I see around March time that we'll be able to breathe a sigh of relief. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't see COVID disappearing altogether. However, I think the US will be able to get back to somewhat normal life and get this virus for the most part under control. We will still have small outbreaks in the coming years ahead. This virus isn't going away completely. I see this becoming a new normal in our lives, and the virus will be somewhat, I see it getting milder, almost more like a flu, where there'll be seasonal outbreaks, and it's going to affect mostly unvaccinated people. I do see people continuing to wear masks and be careful social distancing, but by the summer, I see people are outside and gathering, enjoying this time. Now, my guides did show me two new variants of the virus this year affecting us. They are much milder variants, much like this variant we are currently experiencing. Milder symptoms with it. And I feel another small outbreak towards the end of the year. It's, like I said, a milder variant. And I saw it affecting like small dots, more rural areas. My guides were showing me another vaccine coming out. It was going to be very highly effective at protecting against the virus. It seems to have a very high effectiveness from catching it. Feels like it's coming out this summer. I'm not sure if it's a vaccine or if it's a newly founded treatment option, but I see it helping with the spread of virus from person to person if somebody gets sick. I also see the death rate from the virus in the US going down rapidly because of these treatment options. Now, I had this documented, and I think we're starting to see it now, but my guides were sharing that the vaccines will be available to any age group this coming year. Anybody who wants to be vaccinated can be. I also do feel that there will be some kind of expanding of this vaccine mandate. I know that it was just shut down by the Supreme Court, but I see it being expanded somehow. I see other nations, especially impoverished countries, are going to still continue to struggle with the virus. I see more vaccines being available to these countries, though, as the year progresses and into 2023. I see vaccination status of people worldwide climbing. So that is good news. Like I said, I feel it's going to be much more milder. It is something that we're going to have to continue to deal with for the next couple of years, but it's going to be a lot more controllable. I really feel it's starting to plateau now. Excuse me. And then into March, my guides were saying it's going to get a lot better. And I see everybody really out and enjoying themselves this summer. It does feel like there's another variant coming towards the end of the year, though. Now, into the US economy, when I see the US economy for the year 2022, my guides were showing me, they were showing me a steady line that is, it was kind of going up and down, fluctuating, but it was gradually growing, getting stronger. So I see the economy growing slowly in the spring, but then in the summertime, I felt like it was booming and getting a lot stronger, summer and fall. And then as it goes into the winter months, I saw it dipping down a little bit more. But I do see that getting stronger. I see inflation becoming more manageable and dropping from the end of spring into summertime. I'm also feeling around the same time the supply chain issues are being resolved. Goods are more widely available to the consumers. And I'm feeling by the summer months, for the most part, Americans are feeling much better and less stressed over financial situations caused by the pandemic. Now into the Supreme Court. My guides did show me earlier, I saw a Black woman coming in. She was very smart, very articulate. She did feel on the younger side. Now, as I concentrate on these nominees that they're talking about in the news, I don't remember her name, but her last name is Jackson. I think she's a DC Circuit Judge. I think she's going to be one of the top contenders. My guides didn't show me who was going to take it, but I do think that she's probably in the top 2 picks. I do feel eventually that the Supreme Court will add a justice, so it will be 10 rather than 9. I feel like that may happen next year. And I do feel another justice leaving by the end of the year. I'm pretty sure it's Clarence Thomas. I think he's going to step down due to health concerns, but not that I don't find him to have some health concerns, but I think he's going to have a lot of scandal with him and his wife, and the health concerns are going to be more of an excuse. Not that I think that he's in good health, but I do see him going. And then I think sometime next year, Brett Kavanaugh is going to step down. There's going to be a lot of scandal around him as well. So all in all, I see this African-American justice coming in. Like I said, she's really smart, really articulate. And then I feel 2 more. I do feel 1 more this year. I feel the other one maybe next year. And my guides did say sometime soon, I feel after midterms probably, we will add a justice. So it's going to rebalance itself out. Yeah, and with Kavanaugh, I feel there's going to be a lot of backlash, new investigations into him and how the FBI failed to vet him properly. Now, that is all I have written down for now. I will briefly go through some of these other topics, some of them anyway. I will do further detailed videos here soon, I'm hoping. So going into midterm elections, my guides are still showing me Democrats keeping control. I think between now and midterms, there's going to be a lot of scandals around Trump and the Republican Party, and it's going to outrage Democrats, and Democrats are going to come out in droves for the midterms. I know the energy doesn't feel like that right now. You know, they say Biden's approval ratings aren't super high. I'm from Ohio, so it's more of a Republican state right now, so I can definitely understand that. But I do see them gaining, and I think a big thing that has to do with Democratic support going up is something's happening with Russia, and how Biden responds to it is going to be very positive, along with all the scandals coming out about the Republican parties and Trump. There's going to be a lot of outrage against the Republicans, and I do see us continuing to take the House and Senate. Now, I feel there's going to be more gains in the Senate this midterm election. My guides right now are showing me 3 to 5 gain seats. So that is wonderful news. Then we won't be so split and have, you know, a couple of senators that can be bought by Republican donors, and you know, we can get some stuff done. Now the House, the energy feels like it's going to be pretty similar to what it is now. It's just a very narrow majority. I feel like the House is going to be a little bit tighter. But as of right now, the energy is still telling me that Democrats are going to keep control. Now into some of the Biden's agenda bills, the voting rights, I feel something will come out before midterms. I don't feel it's like the John Lewis bill. I think it's going to, whatever they pass, it's going to be cut down a little bit. It's going to be a cut down version, but it won't be perfect or everything that we need, but it will give us some safeguards for this coming election. Now into the infrastructure bill, my guides did tell me it was going to be broken up into 3 pieces. I see one happening this year, and then the other 2 are going to happen. The other one may happen towards the end of this year, but I'm seeing 3 total. So another one's going to get passed this year. And my guides were also talking about student loans. And while I don't think we're going to get a lot of student loan forgiveness, like what the liberals like Elizabeth Warren and Chuck Schumer are calling for, canceling $50,000, I don't feel it's going to be that much. But as a surprise before midterms and to get young people and Democrats out to vote, I do see them canceling, I think, like 10 grand, 20 grand, somewhere in that area, and also bringing the student loan interest rate down to almost nothing. So with that, it's going to be a little bit easier for people that are struggling with the student loan debt. And then into our last 2 topics, I'm going to talk briefly about Russia. My guides have been showing me Russia being a major problem for a while now. Right now, I don't think Putin has really decided whether he's going to send troops into Ukraine or not. Right now, I'm seeing them standing still, thousands of them, like up along the border, just standing still, waiting for Putin's move. Now, I do see the U.S. having massive sanctions against Russia, and it's really going to upset the oligarchs. And I think a lot of them are going to turn on Putin, I think, as a result. And I think Putin will have to flee. I do feel that that's going to happen sometime this year, could possibly be beginning of next year, but I see Putin out of power. I see NATO eventually Ukraine joining NATO at some point, and I see that being good. But I do see a lot of escalation around the Ukraine. I don't feel a full-out war with that. Even if Putin does go inside Ukraine with troops, I don't see it escalating that much. But I do see Russia being a big problem. My guides are also telling me that there's going to be another major cyber hack from Russia and another one from China, I believe. Now, North Korea, I've said it for a while. I don't feel that Kim Jong-un is still alive. Well, his body may still be alive on a ventilator, but his spirits and his body the tie is severed between the two. I see his sister calling the shots right now. Now they're afraid to make her the leader because they're afraid that the military wouldn't respect taking orders from a woman. So that is why we haven't seen her take over yet. But I feel like with the missile launches that they've done recently, it's kind of just to show that they're still relevant, that they're still here without focusing too much attention on them. And, you know, Kim Jong-un not being alive anymore, they don't want that to come out yet. Also, I'll just end on a fun note. I had a client ask me who was going to win the Super Bowl, and my first thought was the Bengals, and then I was starting to second guess myself a little bit. I just saw today that Linda G was predicting that the Bengals would win, so that goes to show you never doubt yourself after your first hit. So I'm going to predict that the Bengals are going to win, like I originally thought. So anyways, everybody, I'm going to try to get the rest of this done up here soon, get more details out to you. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Please like this video. If you're interested in a private reading, I'll have my email in the description box. It's kevinlovingvibrations@gmail.com. Also, I'll have my PayPal account in there. If anybody would like to send any donations, they're always appreciated. And, you know, they help me and my channel grow. So I would appreciate any donations anybody feels inclined to give. But I think that that's pretty good for today. So I'm going to thank you again for watching, and I will see you all really soon, okay? Take care. Bye.